Welcome back to Raiders Daily at Night. Once again, your host, Case and Gore. Kind of a slow week for the Raiders. Not a lot of drama, which is a good thing. Everyone has kind of been gearing up for the draft. That's really the next big thing that is on people's minds. It's kind of the calm before the storm of the draft. There's a lot of questions where we could go. Everything except for the first overall pick is still up in the air. Cam Ward, number 1 overall to the Tennessee Titans, which I think is the right call. There was a little bit of drama. Maybe somebody could trade, but I don't see that happening. The Raiders could be looking at trading. I think that we should really weigh all options because I feel like if you are going to trade back, let's say you're trading back 3 spots, you've got to have 3 guys at least you can get in your position right now that you would be comfortable with drafting. Don't just trade back just to get more draft capital. As you go deeper on in the draft, the kind of theory is that the talent gets worse, okay? So while there's value in stockpiling these draft picks, having more volume, I think quality is also a big concern because the Raiders have had a lot of quantity. We've had a big draft class. We've had 3 first-round picks, and it's amounted to nothing. Really focus on quality players. If we have to trade up, I'm fine with that. But just having a solid draft. But I wanted to talk about the guys who we could be looking at in the draft, kind of ranking, because there's a lot of different ways that this could play out. Taking into consideration that Tennessee has selected Cam Ward number 1. They're locked in. They're not trading, okay? Depending on how the draft shakes out, these are the 5 guys I could see falling to the Raiders at 6. But the first guy that I could see potentially falling to the Raiders is Mason Graham. Besides last season with Christian Wilkins, I have never seen an elite defensive tackle play for the Las Vegas Raiders in my life. I've never seen it. I haven't seen it. And Christian Wilkins was good last year. He got hurt, right? I think he's still really good. I think he's elite. I mean, I don't see a problem in double dipping on defensive tackles, really solidifying that defensive line. The second guy, technically the 4th, right? I guess the 4th happiest I would be if we got this. Ashton Jeanty, okay? And I'm ranking him at 4. In my heart, he's probably ranked number 2. Okay, I would love this. I would love this, and I'll elaborate on him and another prospect later. But position of need, some are saying generational talent. Definitely the best running back in this draft class. The best running back we've seen in a while. Very unique player, very physical runner. Would love to see him in silver and black. Obviously, there's the concerns with taking a running back in the first round. I think you'd be an immediate contributor. You would definitely, the biggest concern would just be longevity. If you played it really smart, kind of had a running back by committee and really saved those early years, built a line around him, try to minimize as much wear and tear on his body, there's a way to draft him and be successful and compete with him on the roster. The third guy, not as exciting, but I would be almost excited by my unexcitement. Armand Mizzou, tackle. Not a flashy pick, not an exciting pick, but it's exciting because the Raiders have had exciting offseason. They've had exciting drafts, but that hasn't led to success. You win football ultimately in the trenches, on the line. Solidifying this offensive line, which I think is already good, but bringing in competition, making it elite, not a problem at all. Number 2, these last 2 guys, if they are there at 6, 1, I'll be surprised, and 2, there's no reason for us not to take them. We'll start out with Shedeur Sanders. There's a world the Browns pass up on Shedeur, and so do the Giants. And then now we're sitting here looking at him at 6. There's been a lot of talks, maybe the Saints would trade up. I would be willing to listen to phone calls. I'll be willing to weigh all options, but I would be willing to also put money on it right now that if Shedeur is there at 6, we're taking him. Tom Brady's taking him. Pete Carroll is taking him. John Spytek is taking Shedeur Sanders. Is he an elite quarterback? Maybe not. Is he an MVP level quarterback? Maybe not. Is he a top 2 quarterback prospect in this draft? Yes. Is he a potential top 15, border top 10 quarterback in this league? Yeah. I mean, you really got to weigh all options. And let me put it like this. When is the last time the Raiders have been able to select a top 2 quarterback prospect in a draft? When? Back in maybe 2018? It doesn't happen often. And you risk a lot. I would think a higher likelihood of a bust situation happening. There's a lot more drama when you have a star quarterback, a name like that sitting on the bench. But it's a risk I'm willing to take because the upside is so high. And number 1, Travis Hunter. If you can get Travis Hunter, that's cornerback depth, that's wide receiver depth. But I would love Travis Hunter was there. There seems to be a lot of controversy, specifically with Shedeur Sanders and Ashton Jeanty, if we should draft them. But let me present this point. And I understand this is not the reason to draft him. You're not drafting him for this reason, which I think a lot of people misunderstood. But I posted on Twitter, one of the biggest upsides for drafting a guy like Shedeur Sanders, like Ashton Jeanty, is the star power it would bring to this organization. Having a big name like Ashton Jeanty, having a big name like Shedeur Sanders in this organization, on this team, wearing our jerseys, would bring a lot of attention. That can be a bad thing, but it can also be a good thing. It leads to a lot more recognition. And big problem that the Raiders have faced since they moved to Las Vegas is getting Raiders fans in those seats, getting silver and black jerseys in the stadium. I think drafting a player with as much star power as Ashton Jeanty, as much star power as Shedeur Sanders would bring a whole new generation of fans to this team and at least get a lot more silver and black fans in the stadium. Some people on Twitter said we should not be drafting players because they sell jerseys. Holy shit, please shut the fuck up. This guy said, dude, you have awful takes when it comes to the Raiders. Okay. That only works when you're winning. The second the team starts losing, names don't matter. Yeah. You know what else helps with winning is, getting good players. Good players like Ashton Jeanty. Good players like Shedeur Sanders. This is dumb, draft for talent, not name. I mean, they're talented. Somebody said, Jeanty ain't no star power. Where are you from, Montana? No, I'm not. I think people kind of got my point misconstrued. I'm not getting these guys just because they are a big name, just because they'll sell a lot of jerseys. But that's a definite upside, right? Getting more fans, getting more viewers, getting more fans in the stadiums will help us. That'll help the organization. But there's one man in particular I wanted to bring up to close out this video, because there's a rumor going around that he could be on the move. And that's our very own Aidan O'Connell, our darling quarterback. There's a rumor going around that he could be moved on draft night. And that hurts my heart, because I'm an Aidan O'Connell fan. I know I've used Aidan O'Connell's name as a lot of punchlines on this channel. So to Aidan, because I know you're watching this, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I want you to know I'm a fan deep down. I'm the biggest Aidan O'Connell fan there is, okay? And I kind of wanted to just take the fans down a little trip down memory lane with Aidan O'Connell. Y'all remember when Josh McDaniels was being petty and forced Aidan O'Connell to wear 4 because Derek Carr audible to a run that won the game in OT versus Seattle? Okay, let me break that down for you. In Seattle versus Seahawks versus Geno Smith, it's overtime. The Raiders are backed up against their own end zone. Josh McDaniel probably puts in some terrible play call. Probably tells Devontae Adams to run into Hunter Renfrow once again with the game on the line. But Derek Carr, our king, Derek Carr, the greatest quarterback of all time, says, no, Josh. We're checking into a run. I'm giving it to Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs, right at the middle. Like a hot knife through butter. Just right at the middle. Gone. 80 yards, 90 yards, something. I think that's the longest run of Josh Jacobs' career. But won the ball game for us, okay? And if you look at the video, if you look at that, right after that game, you can see the whole team celebrating, everyone cheering, right? But you can see in Josh McDaniels' eye, he wasn't too happy. No. He didn't take too kindly to that. And so what does he do? He starts planning. He starts plotting. And he goes, yes, I know what I'll do. I'll run this team into the ground, along with their precious little quarterback. And he forces Derek Carr to throw 3 interceptions on Christmas Eve. Makes it known to the league that, hey, we're getting rid of this guy. We don't want this guy. We don't want this guy. We're moving elsewhere. We're doing something else, okay? Surprise, surprise, when you announce to the league that you're getting rid of this guy, people don't really want to trade for him. So one thing leads to another. We release him. He goes to the Saints. We get nothing. We draft this little quarterback. There's a little bit of disputes with his number or whatever. But somehow, laid before this young man is the number 4. He's a bright-eyed, bushy-tailed rookie. He doesn't know any better. He grabs that jersey. He takes that number. He's like, yeah, I'm on the team, guys. Little does he know, that number 4, right, symbolized all the hate, all the pain that Josh McDaniels had inflicted onto this team. And that kind of symbolism of Aidan O'Connell being shoved Derek Carr's number kind of symbolizes his whole time with the Raiders. Because I feel bad for Aidan O'Connell, right? I think he's a talented kid. I think if he had went to a team like the 49ers, maybe he had been in a position like Brock Purdy, been on a team like the Lions, in a position of a guy like Jared Goff, he could have success, right? And he would be respected as a competent quarterback in this league, which he is. I think he's an above average quarterback. I think Raiders fans were kind of tired of just above average quarterback play, right? They were wanting good. So then we were kind of forced to look elsewhere, and Aiden O'Connell never really got his shot, and so that's the one thing that kind of makes me sad about him potentially leaving is this guy who gave his all to this organization, kind of put in a transitional period, was given a number kind of out of spite, but he gave us some great memories. Most points in franchise history, gave us that Christmas Day against Kansas City. So I just wanted to take this episode to say thank you, Aiden O'Connell. I know you're watching. Thank you, Aiden O'Connell. You are one of the quarterbacks of all time in Raiders history. But that's all the time we have for today, folks. Thank you once again for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Aiden O'Connell, for watching. And Geno Smith, if you're watching this too, Derek Carr, Terrell Pryor, any Rich Gannon. Maybe Rich Gannon's watching, right? It's a pretty popular show. But thank you all for watching. And you, the fans, the regular people at home, thank you for watching. You're the motor that gets this thing running, and I couldn't do it without you. So, once again, good night, Raider Nation. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Raiders Daily at night. Thank you.